Stop throwing your banana peel in the trash. Right now, somewhere in your kitchen, there's a peel sitting in a bin that could be worth more to your garden than anything you'd buy at the store. And I'm not talking about the tip your neighbor gave you, the one where you just toss it in the soil and hope for the best. No. There's a hidden process happening inside that peel, backed by actual soil science, that most gardeners over 60 have never been told about. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why worms seem to disappear from tired soil, and the strange reason a banana peel can bring them back in numbers you won't believe. Stick around, because trick number 3 is the one most people get completely backwards, and it's probably the reason your soil has felt lifeless for years. Hey there, and welcome back to Evergreen Garden Tips, the place where we make gardening simple, affordable, and honestly, a little bit fun again. If this is your first time here, welcome to the family. We're a community of everyday people, many of you starting your gardens later in life, proving every single day that you don't need a big budget or a green thumb from childhood to grow something beautiful. And if you've been with us for a while, you already know we don't do complicated things. No fancy fertilizers, no expensive gadgets. Just real tricks that work, using things you already have at home. Before we dig in, if you're new here, consider becoming part of this growing garden family by subscribing. It costs nothing, and it means you won't miss the tips that could save you real money this season. Now let's get into it, because trick number 1 might just change how you look at your kitchen scraps forever. Trick 1, the overnight soak. Here's something almost nobody talks about. If you just bury a banana peel whole, it can take weeks to break down, and sometimes fruit flies or pests find it before your plants ever get the benefit. So here's the fix. Take your banana peel and drop it into a jar of plain water overnight. Just water, nothing else. By morning, that water has pulled out potassium and other nutrients from the peel, turning into what old-timers used to call banana peel tea. Pour that water directly at the base of your plants once a week, and you're feeding them potassium, the exact nutrient responsible for strong roots, disease resistance, and better flowering. Universities that study plant nutrition confirm potassium deficiency is one of the top reasons flowering plants struggle to bloom, and tomatoes end up small and weak. This one trick alone has helped so many beginner gardeners turn things around, and it costs you nothing but a jar and a little patience. Trick 2. The shallow bury method. Now, this is where most people get it wrong, even ones who've been gardening for years. They bury the peel too deep, 6 or 7 inches down, thinking deeper is better. But worms, the good kind that create rich, dark soil, live mostly in the top few inches of earth where oxygen and organic matter meet. If you bury that peel too deep, it just sits there, decomposing slowly without ever attracting the worm activity you want. Instead, dig a small hole no deeper than 2 inches, right near the root zone of your plant, not touching the stem, and place small pieces of peel inside. Cover lightly. Within days, you'll start noticing more worm castings on the surface. That's the soil's version of gold dust. Worms are drawn to the sugars and moisture in the peel, and as they feed and move through the soil, they're aerating it and leaving behind nutrients your plants can actually absorb. Simple, but almost nobody explains it this clearly. Now, quick pause. If this is already teaching you something new, do me a favor and hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more beginner gardeners just like you. And if you've got a gardening question, or even your own banana peel trick, drop it in the comments below. I read every single one, and sometimes your comment becomes the inspiration for a whole new video. Alright, let's keep going, because trick number 3 is the one I mentioned earlier, and it might completely change how you think about composting. Trick 3, the dry powder method. Most people don't realize that fresh peels can sometimes attract unwanted pests, especially if you live somewhere warm or humid. So here's the uncommon trick that solves that completely. Instead of using the peel fresh, let it dry out completely, either in the sun for a few days or in a low oven, and then crush it into a fine powder. This powder is incredibly concentrated in potassium and phosphorus, without any of the moisture that attracts pests. Sprinkle a spoonful around your plants once every couple of weeks, and lightly mix it into the top layer of soil. Because it's dry, it releases nutrients slowly over time instead of all at once, feeding your plants gradually rather than overwhelming them. gardening researchers often point out that slow-release nutrients are far better for root development than a sudden burst, because plants absorb what they need steadily instead of wasting it. This method is especially perfect for those of you gardening in pots or small raised beds, where pests are more of a concern. Trick 4. The Worm Magnet Blend. This next one is a personal favorite because it does double duty. Take your banana peel and mix it with used coffee grounds, something most of us already have sitting in the kitchen. The combination creates the perfect environment worms are naturally drawn to. Coffee grounds add nitrogen and improve soil texture, while the banana peel supplies the sugars and potassium. Together, they create a rich pocket of food that worms will travel toward, sometimes from surprisingly far in the soil. Just mix a handful of coffee grounds with chopped banana peel, bury shallow like we talked about earlier, and give it about a week. You'll likely see more worm activity in that one spot than anywhere else in your garden. And where there are more worms, there's naturally better soil structure, better drainage, and healthier root systems, all without spending a single dollar. Trick 5. The Banana Peel Compost Accelerator. And finally, trick number 5, the one that ties everything together. If you already have a compost pile or bin, banana peels can actually speed up the entire decomposition process. This is because peels are considered a green material, rich in nitrogen, which balances out the brown materials in your compost, like dried leaves or cardboard. When you get that balance right, your compost heats up properly, breaking down faster and creating that dark, crumbly, sweet-smelling soil that experienced gardeners chase after for years. Simply chop your peels into small pieces before adding them, since smaller pieces break down significantly faster than whole ones. Within a few short weeks, you'll notice your compost pile transforming, and that transformed compost becomes some of the richest, most alive soil you can put into your garden. So there you have it, 5 simple, almost secret ways to turn something you'd normally throw away into one of the most powerful tools in your gardening routine. No expensive fertilizer, no complicated steps, just a little bit of knowledge that most people were never taught. And that's really what gardening later in life is about, isn't it? Not needing everything to be perfect or expensive, just needing to understand what your soil and your plants are actually asking for. If you found even one of these tricks helpful, please take a moment to like this video. It truly helps more beginner gardeners find their way here. Drop a comment and let me know which trick you're going to try first. I love hearing from this community. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Evergreen Garden Tips so you never miss a video like this one. We've got so much more coming, simple, affordable, real gardening help for every one of you. Until next time, keep growing.